Hello and welcome to Nbyula Talks. Before we begin, we have a few updates and reminders for you. We would love to have you be part of our Nbyula community. And you can do so by logging on to www.nbyula.com, where you can join communities related to your area of interest, register for upcoming Nbyula Talks, book one-to-one skylifts, and view other upcoming events. You can also take this opportunity to connect with fellow learners or the speaker by sending a connection request. When you connect with the speaker, you will be able to contact them directly as well as receive updates about their upcoming talks. Kindly note that during this session, you will not be able to switch on your camera or unmute your mic. To ask questions during the talk, go to the audience chat, type your question, and select Post Your Question. If your question has not been answered during the talk, you will be notified once it's been answered, or if your question has not been answered during the talk, you can go to www.nbyula.com and spin a quest, and your questions will be answered. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this talk broadens your horizons and takes you to new learning heights.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Nbyula Talk. I'm your host for the day and my name is Masuma, part of the Nbyula editorial and content team. All right, folks, let's roll. I hope everyone is doing great. And first, let's have an introduction about Nbyula, what we are and what we provide you. Okay, so Nbyula is a platform where it empowers international work and studies aspirants. Nbyula is first and foremost a community-driven ecosystem for and by international skilled citizens. Nbyula helps aspirants eliminate their fears of studying or working in an unfamiliar country by leveraging the knowledge, insights, and guidance of international students, alumni, and professionals. This in turn breaks down the barriers of opacity and helps the aspirants gain confidence through establishing trust and transparency. This significantly reduces the cost and efforts, time, and problems associated with international work and studies. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you ever find yourself pondering upon studying or working abroad? Nebula Talks let you learn from people who have first hand experience in their professional journey. And today, to share his incredible journey from a very small town, from Assam to London School of Economics, we have with us Mr. Gulzar Hussain. And welcome to Nebula Talk, Mr. Hussain. Thank you for being here today and sharing your knowledge with international study aspirants all over the world. It will be great if you can have a brief background about yourself and about your education and how you chose to come to LSE.
Hi, Masuma. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was such an incredible morning for me to starting a talk with Nbyula and your audiences. Yeah, such a wonderful platform. Yeah, so as an intro, I belong to a small village of Assam, which is the southern part of Assam district known as Karimganj. So I did my schooling up to the higher secondary level from there, and then I came to AMU Aligarh to did my undergrad and my MSW, that is a master's from there. Post that, I joined the Gandhi Fellowship, which is an education leadership program based in Rajasthan, and I was there for 2 years. And then around the 6 years, I work in this domain, like the social impact and connecting bit of the CSR as well. So this is a bit of my journey in a brief, and what makes me to choose the London School of Economics, is because of one of my that is, you can say, the mid-career, the inclination towards the cause that I wanted to pursue further. So I belong to this development sector, and development sector in India is pretty much most on the charities and the donations. The entrepreneurial essence is, I feel like, is somehow missing, and the London School of Economics is the only the institution in the world which is giving the courses aligning to the entrepreneurial essence and the innovation models. And I've chosen this one as my next second master's. And this is how the most important and impelling reason for me to choose LSE.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction, Gulzar. So today's talk is about social innovation, and entrepreneurship that you're currently pursuing at LSE, and
Right.
also about Chevening Scholarship, which is one of the best international scholarship programs, right?
Right.
So, would you like to say something more about scholarship, Chevening?
Yeah, why not? This is today's talk is about. Yeah. So yeah, so I hope the people, those who are like wanting to study in abroad and looking for the fully funded scholarship, they must have known about the Chevening Scholarship. So whatever the Google info available, so I'm not speaking about much of it because it is easily available by just a search, is a search engine thing. So normally, the Chevening is fully funded the scholarship for the 1 year masters. That if you are like, best thing about Chevening is you want to study any program in any universities in the UK, so you have a freedom to choose, no matter like is it need to connect it to your what you can say any specific domain or department sort of thing. So you are open to pursue engineering, media, and all sort of thing, and they cover everything. So you no need to worry about your finances, you don't need to worry about your plane tickets, you don't need to worry about your NHS health cost. Like you are here to study and network, so the objective behind this, the Chevening scholarship across the globe, like they cover from 160 countries, and every year around 1600 applications. So around, you can say, the 2.5% of acceptance rate globally. So they try to select those person who has the potential to be the future global leader and has an influence in the country. And as you see, like it's given a chance to study in the UK, the sector you belong, and again come back to your own country and serve your own country further. So that's how it is. So most of the aspirants think of, okay, I'll be going out and then staying abroad and then my rest of my life. So if in the case of Chevening, they're thinking like this. So it is not the case.
Yes. I mean, like your cause of going to UK and like pursuing something and coming back to India and doing something for the country is great. It's
Yeah.
really commendable. I mean, like, yeah, not everybody choose to do that, but yeah, that's great. And I think all of the audiences, they will be greatly enlightened with all the knowledge that you share. So, all right,
Yes.
moving on to the guys who are waiting for us. Let's start the conversation, and I'll ask a lot of questions, and I think you should pen all of that down. Okay, and please feel free to shoot all of the questions that you have in the chat box. Also, if it is not answered during the talk, it will be answered as a quest in Nbyula.com. All right. So, why did you choose the destination UK? And did you have any alternate study destinations other than UK?
Yeah, the great question indeed. So when I'm thinking of planning my this next career in the means of study abroad and adding a value to the career path that what I had previously, so this is the line it is coming into my career alignment. Mixing something with the social innovation and the business angles, that is the entrepreneurship. So I was pretty sure that okay, I'm very limited about my the time investing. I'm looking for something less than 2 years because in India, master in 2 years, and I already did my masters. So I was looking, okay, if it is something less than one. So there is executive program, but I'm not sure about this executive program sort of thing, and my experience is not that level to pursue the executive thing.
Right.
So the most important thing was their master programs are across the UK is the 1 year. So I think this is the perfect match for me. And then, yeah, so I've choose this because the LSE in terms of social science and management is the second best in the world after the Harvard. So the course I'm looking for and the module basically I wanted to study the areas. So perfectly having this match, and I said, yeah, okay, why not to start with? So this is how, like, I've chosen the UK. And along with this, LSE has a very important reputation in the research, and UK overall education system is, the very the research oriented and the outcomes and evidence based process they follow. It's not that something that you the teacher can give a lecture and then you read from the books or any notes and then write in the exams. It's not like that. So it's mostly the case study based module that one has to do. So you are solving the problems practically into the classrooms and also having the live consultancy project like into different countries. So I had a project in South Africa, Cape Town. I had a project with Zurich, Switzerland, doing consulting lively with the clients or solving their problem as a part of the course module. So this is few of the things are very interesting in case of the all across UK universities and particularly the LSE. So that's why the most important reason to choose.
Right. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So next is, what all programs did you consider and what all did you apply for from the initial list of considered programs?
Oh, it was quite journey, Masuma. So I remember when this COVID started, and I was thinking of reshaping my career. So this MSW and the fellowship is not going along, sort of thing. And then I started with my Excel sheet sort of exercise, like selecting my courses and all. So as the social work background and into the CSR and all, I was thinking of okay, something related to the CSR, something related to the public policy, something related to the sustainability, something related to again like I work in the education domain more, something related to the education international development. So these are the areas things coming as an initial level when I'm doing my high level sort of the research, and then start I'm narrowing down in phase wise sort of thing. So you can say I start with this, the development studies. I start with this public policy. I started with this education and international development, and then I narrowed down with the things that I really wanted to, that is in line to the social innovation and entrepreneurship that is been into the LSE. And similar to this, because Chevening asks for around like 3 universities you need to shortlist it and apply. And out of this, they ask for one unconditional offer letter when they select you, like before selecting, you can say. So in this case, I have applied for London School of Economics, the course name that is the MSc Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And the second one is the UCL, University College London. So the course is similar to this, a bit different, like MSc, so Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Prosperity. This prosperity has been added. And the third one is the University of Bristol. The course is like also a bit similar, bit in the business orientation, like MSc Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So there is an alignment. But Chevening also asks, like whenever you are writing your essays, they will try to see what are the course that you have chosen across these 3 universities and how this is aligning to the plan you are setting for further. So this alignment need to be there. So this is how it is standing out as like social innovation and entrepreneurship, and bit of here and there prosperity, and also it works.
Right. I mean, you must have done quite a research then,
Of
like
course, of
narrowing down.
course. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
like narrowing down like so many different universities and what all do you need to choose for your future planning.
yeah.
Yes, that's quite a bit. Okay, so next is, what were your biggest challenges choosing the destination as or the programs? Any challenges that you faced to choose UK or your universities?
Yeah. So, nothing much challenges in terms of this, the universities in the UK experience. Like if I thinking of considering my masters when I was doing in India, the challenges I face in terms of application process, seeing the wait list, and if I have any confusion regarding filling application form, want to talk with any of the non-teaching staff in the university in the admission offices. Similarly, in the case of UK, there is no challenge because you just write a mail down to them, and like they are here to help you, like individually replying your mail in a case-to-case basis. So, and in addition to that, the all universities in the UK during the admission time that is started in the September intake maybe. So from June onwards, so or July onwards, they started giving like this confusion clearing session, like they ask the student to register, and then they conduct the webinar sort of thing where all sort of the queries any student has, like related to the writing SOPs, related to the application cycles, related to the submission date for your English language requirements, related to the funding and all sort of things. So they clear all sort of the things on spot, or if any student has a long sort of thing they're unable to clear, they then again write back in terms of answering the question. So in this context, I didn't find any major issues and difficulties. But yes, I would suggest to the attendees here, like if they can try to find some alumni of the university and the course that are applying while doing through some of this LinkedIn research sort of thing, and from their own network. So it will help them, to get some of the particular queries in regard to the courses that is sometimes been like difficult to find the answers from the large masses, if they can have some connect with this close masters and the contact, it is easy to get sorted sort of thing. So yeah, otherwise no other major difficulties because the universities here are the very pro to help you in the process and a smooth onboarding process. They believe it. So it's all been taken care of once anyone is starting their application process.
Yeah, that must be really helpful. And
Yes.
I think all the aspirants have noted that down. So there is nothing to fear about if you're
No,
worried or anything.
no, 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 no.
Nothing
No.
at all.
Yeah.
So did you by any chance did you had any language barrier? Like we Indians have a certain accent and like UK's it's different. It's quite different.
Yeah. So, as like in my case, I never been out of the country. That was my first time and first time in London. And the language that we speak in the name of the English language and here the native language is completely different. So it doesn't matter even here in the London, like such a cosmopolitan city, like you have to be understand and been through the native languages. So it's people from all over the world, the Europe and the US, and so it's pretty mixed. So like initially, I would say as a kind of around 3 months, I feel a bit of the cultural shock. Cultural shock, it's because of it doesn't mean that you know the English, so you wanted to know the cultural aspect of the languages, like some pretty jokes are intermingling into it. And then what
Right.
if we say something, whatever you don't wanted to convey, it is something between the lines sort of thing. So this sort of
Right.
things can only get clarified when you live in this culture and when you live with these languages, people who speak around. So it's not an issue, I guess. Like everyone comes from a very diverse and different background. So people around are very helpful, particularly the people who lives here. They're very helpful if you have any issues and sort of thing. And sometimes I also felt like as an imposter syndrome, it's because of like people here are very smart around, so they having coming from a very advanced education system already. And in terms of perspectives and the knowledge, they are a bit ahead. And sometimes I feel like, okay, I may not be good enough sort of thing, but it's not the case really. So if you feel it, like when you check your like real-time balances in terms of any discussion and the contribution. So I feel like if you feel that, okay, I'm here to like learn and I'm here to explore, I'm here to network. So if these things in your mind and see the things in the empty cup, so you don't have anything inside of you. I know these, that sort of things. You are has an empty cup. You just need to fill your cup. So having this approach in me, I feel like everything is sorted. There is no issue at all.
Right. Okay. That was quite a bit again. I mean, I think UK that way is filled with a lot of people, a lot of culture and everything. And according to you, it's pretty friendly because I myself have never been to UK, London. So I think, yeah, all the aspirants should not be fearful or anything because this looks like quite welcoming to me after
Yeah, yeah,
what you said.
yeah. Yes, of course. There's nothing to fear. Fear out of it, like in terms of getting into new places and the not acceptance sort of thing. People are pretty helpful around, so there's no worry at all. So you just need to have a good mood and the positive perspective and attitude. Everything will be taken care of. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay. So, how important was the scholarship for you, or did you have any other alternative if not the funding? Like
For
if
me,
the
the
funding
yeah.
wasn't there.
Okay. Yeah, for me, the scholarship was a very important thing. So I was not thinking of going without scholarship, and it's because okay, I already had one master, so and I wanted to go if I get this scholarship opportunity. There is one case that is in the funding. Another case, the scholarship is not only with the funding, it's another edge of like being a part of a community. And there is a very powerful and strong and influential community, that is the Chevening community. So every year you can understand scholars from 160 countries and 1600, so multiplied every year, the community is building. And from India, like it was around in our time, it was 44 scholars, mixed from the civil servant, mixed from the media, mixed from this sector, engineering, law, all mix of it. Mostly they're like when they return, so maybe unlike me, they are into the influential positions and they're making very pretty good work the way already did and they are doing in this context. So it's a very wonderful network. So for me, I've taken this scholarship like as an one and only factor. Okay, if it is happening, I will go. And then later I realized, okay, I could have done in terms exploring some partial scholarship that is like, like 50% or 60%, and remaining then one student can manage their own funds. Another way, the university also give like variety of the scholarship, which covers like 50 to 17, even sometimes even less sort of thing, which helps you okay, if you end up with, because scholarship is a very risky thing, like you never know, like it may happen, may not happen sort of thing, with very huge competition. So if anyone is miss out, so you can triangulate sort of your fundings availability and other fundings pool sort of thing, and you can make it effort further. So I didn't do it, and I thought of like, if any student pursuing further, my advice will be they should do it, not only aim for the fully funded scholarship and stop looking the availability of the other sort of things available in the university and the partial fund of thing. It helps if one get miss. So there's how it is. In my case, my circumstances was different, so that's why I've only chosen for the fully funded one.
Right. So, initially, what all scholarships did you apply for? And at what point of application process, and what criteria did you have to choose one?
Okay. Yeah. So as I said, I only look for the fully funded one. So I figure out for UK, it is the two important scholarship. One that is the Chevening, another one is the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So I applied for these two scholarship, putting my heart and soul into it. Like like in a, I try to do the things once I feel convinced, and put my heart and soul into it. Otherwise, I don't do it. So there's my philosophy into the life. So whatever I've been now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so applying this to scholarship is really makes me a different person, in the process of writing essays, particularly into the Chevening and into the Commonwealth Shared. So yeah, out of this cycle, so I've selected for both the scholarship, then I had to choose one because there will be no getting two scholarship from the same country sort of thing. And then I chose the Chevening over Commonwealth because of its alumni size and the networking edge that it bears in comparison to the Commonwealth.
Right. Okay. So, what is the eligibility criteria for this scholarship?
Okay. For Chevening, like the candidate, they ask for, the minimum, the strong academic background. So they minimum ask for the 2:1, which means that minimum 60% of your academic score, and minimum 2 years of the work experience. The work experience doesn't mean here that like you need to be the on roll of an company or an organizations for minimum 2 years. So any voluntary works, internship during your university level, or like anywhere you do, so they count it. They normally count like 2,800 hours of like work experiences you have along with this academic sort of thing. And as I said, like they will ask for like one unconditional offer letter from any of the universities you applied, and the Chevening won't ask for your English language certification on the score, that is IELTS and the TOEFL. If anyone were to take, there's the university will ask. So like when they ask for the unconditional offer, that means that you automatically filled the condition into the university. That's why they're issuing as an unconditional offer letter. And then Chevening, if you submit to the Chevening, then they will give you like the full award letter that has been like submitted to the embassy, and then like your visa and everything been sync with this, and then you'll be traveling to the UK for the university. So I think
Right.
these are the like in terms of the legal eligibility requirement. But the most important thing stand out here, it is for the Chevening, is writing the 4 essay. So the 4 essay, that is, if people are like crack these, they are into the Chevening. Otherwise, nothing matters in the case of the Chevening. So
Okay.
mostly it talks about like first essay, the leadership and influence. So normally people try to share their story, but again, it's the story that you want to share, and someone who is going to evaluate you who don't know you. Okay, so your story need to be in that articulation and anecdotal examples attached with it, so that the person who is evaluating it feel that okay, this is the real and the genuine case. So in terms of the leadership, same goes with like what are sort of the leadership things you have demonstrated in your past work or your academic life so far, and it makes some changes around. Like people need to give some examples while writing this essay within 500 words. So there is a word limit sort of thing. And similarly goes with the networking and the shared relationship, the second essay. It also, like, they ask like how you capitalize the networking as an opportunities, and create and makes value out of it. So here also it has been advised to at least you give like 2 to 3 examples, which is connect to your real life and what you believe that is networking means to you. Similarly, the previous one, the leadership, also like one needs to define what leadership mean to them, and then they can clarify in terms of their examples. It's sort of the evidence based cycle of storytelling. And similarly goes with there's the study in the UK. There is another essay. So here, these 3 university I was talking about. So the prospective scholars need to mention that, okay, if this university and this course, why this course? Okay, what attracts you? And why not like others? Why UK as a whole attracts you apart from the university? Sometimes the students feel that, okay, we need to talk only about academic, and this is going for academic journey. So the Chevening were also like looking for something beyond academics, like how UK as a whole, as a country, from their culture, from their heritage, from their other specialty, like London is an economic hub of the world, like for particularly Europe. So how you seeing this apart from your academic journey in terms of building networks and all? They also expect something like how you contribute to the Chevening once you will be a part of your journey of the Chevening while studying in UK and while you come back to your own country. That is about the third essay. The fourth essay is about the career plan. So whatever you had your old journey, and based on this, you have written your leadership essay, you've written your networking essay, and your present things you're gonna do. That is, you have written your study in UK essay, and based on this, what you will be doing after coming back to your country, that is your career plan sort of thing. So here it is like it should be, the related has a sequence to whatever the story you have shared in other 1500 words in 3 essays, as a clear linkages that is going to a career path, as a kind of linear graph need to be there like this. And in this essay, one need to speak about mostly about starting with the career vision they wanted to do, and then break into it in terms of like goals, and goals maybe further break into the short term, mid term goals, like what you will be exactly doing under it. And also need to mention okay, what are the important programs and the schemes that UK government has in your own country, and how your study can be helpful once you come back to strengthen these bilateral partnerships in the respective your home country. And you should have the specific target of like in terms of numbers. Okay, it's not just about okay, like telling stories and fancy things. No, it should have something, the smart planning that we call it, like specific realistic measurable time bound sort of some methodologies are there. So these are the 4 more important, the essays. And I feel like the important eligibility apart from other things that I shared in terms of the academic credentials and unconditional offer letter sort of thing. Yeah, so this is how, if anyone is pretty confident and they're convinced to themselves, okay, they're quite, their journey is worth sharing and interesting to share into through an essay. I think this is the most important criteria, eligibility criteria for shipping.
Yeah. So anyone who likes to write, I think it's going to be pretty easy for them. But how did you manage? Like, how much time did you exactly need to write all of these essays?
Yeah, so I have a bit reservation in terms of what you said, like anything who loves to write, for them it's easy. It's not that. Okay. So yeah, writing is a different part, like expressing yourself and as a different art. But here the storytelling is something anecdotal, and something facts included into it. And it's more about telling your own story. Suppose if I am a professional writer, I can write a case of someone else, but the selectors are so smart, so they can like track you in a minute or even less than a minute. Okay, this piece is not written by the candidate, it's written by someone else. So telling your own story into your own words, that's really matters. So the question that you asked in terms of the time taken, so as I mentioned, I was working full time, and that my designation was pretty in a middle leadership sort of thing. So I need to handle teams, multiple projects, sort of thing, and office environment. So I didn't really get time during the weekdays. So the weekend I worked really hard for at least, you may say, around 3 months. Okay, so it's not only like once you have written the essay and then close it down and sending. So I have gone for around 6 version of my draft, while starting with, and I keep my mentors intact in the process. So selecting them, like I'll talk about mentor maybe some after some of our conversation. So like once you have written something, you think about it and then about the question, and then I closed it, and then like next week I was doing my office work, then open it again, and then like seeing it, there are a lot of changes appeared, then I do it again, sending this draft to my mentors, okay, how you feel, that taking their feedbacks, again doing remodification sort of thing, and then again close it down, again open. So this sort of, the iteration and the reiteration process helps you to put the real things that what you really wanted to say, so that makes your story, convincing and appealing to the person that who will be evaluating. So yeah, I have done these things in a process of like weekend works, in around 3 months, I must say. But I would suggest people, those who are, it depends on case to case basis, but they should give more time in writing of their essays. It's not a case of 1 week or 2 3 days and then submit.
Right. Thank you so much. It was quite informative. Okay, so could you at least list down the documents you needed to apply the scholarship?
I think in terms of document, it is your academic documents, like whatever the percentage they ask for minimum. So in my case, it was my undergrad degree, undergrad mark sheets, and same similarly goes for the masters, and these things, the transcript they ask for. Even the university also asks for the transcript. So transcripts, Indian university, you need to ask separately for them. And apart from that, your work experience details they ask, and they also ask for like, this the work experience certificate as well, and the reference letter, two referees. So you also, while doing the process, you need to have the two referees that you directly work with, either from your university or the academic side, or from the professional side. So then you need to submit a like LOR, we call it, the letter of the references, starting
Right.
with like maybe 1 page or the 2 page sort of thing. There is not such limitation of the words, but it matters like what the referee is writing for you, okay, in support of the plan that you are going to have, and that the relationship you had with your referees sort of thing. So these are the few things I think for as an initial for initial submission. Not even reference things not required. You just need to have your essays ready, and the, you can say, not the documents also, because you just need to fill those things into the portal. And then like there is a timeline there, they will ask you by this timeline you upload your educational document sort of thing that I mentioned, like whatever you are reading into their portal. So you just need to give some evidence of this as a document with the mark sheets and all. And then there is another timeline that by this date you need to submit your referees, the two LOR later, okay. And then like your, what it is called, this, the first level of the selection result been announced based on your essay sort of thing. And then again, like they will ask you for an in-person interview. So in our case it was COVID, so it was onto the virtual, so from the British High Commission, otherwise they call it in person into their office. And after this, the in-person interviews and based on your performance, so they will like decide whether to select you or not. And then accordingly they will ask further, like before that they will ask the unconditional offer letter from the university. So it's pretty informative, in the website, in their FAQ section. So I think if any prospective student is visiting them, so there's no need to ask anyone. So it's pretty simple, informative into their website, and do visit their FAQ section. So everything is answered over there.
Right. Okay. It was quite informative. Also, you mentioned IELTS. So that is also an important documentation, right?
Yeah, the English language course. So for Chevening, they don't want it. So for the
Okay.
university, as I mentioned earlier, so
Right,
for
right,
university, you
right.
need to give. So it is indirectly they want it. They're not asking, okay, you submit us your IELTS score or any other English language requirement score, but they will ask you give us the unconditional offer letter, which means that for getting unconditional offer letter from your university, you have to fulfill that requirement. That is the IELTS.
Correct. Right. Okay. So did you take up any, I think you mentioned that you have taken up leadership program as well. Could you particularly name what all did you do?
No, I haven't taken the leadership program. So it's I talked about the leadership essay sort of thing. And while writing this, whatever the rules that you have. So in my case, I had a mid leadership position in the organizations, like, fortunately. So I could have, I had a lot of examples to write, so because I have pretty experiences, a thorough experiences sort of thing. So it helps you, like in terms of the pushing your cases forward. So you have a lots of cases to write and examples to put. But again, so some of my earlier talks also, the student and the people reached out to me, okay, we are just graduating from the university and all, we don't have these formal experiences, so what to write under the leadership sort of thing. So there's, I think, the cases, or like I given the example of, suppose if you are in the university and if you have been a part of any cultural society or any society that has been interested in a sports society sort of thing, and you lead your team and you taken some initiatives, and these initiatives really works well under your supervision and your leadership, you have put your ideas, you have documented it sort of thing. So this sort of experiences, if anyone like describe it in a form of change, because of their initiation and their contribution, there is something happened, this change happened, these things also been covered under the leadership example. It doesn't mean that one have to be in a leadership position who can write the leadership essay, nothing like that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So, did you have any mentor shots, or would you have preferred someone guiding you, mentoring you?
Yeah, it is most important aspect of this journey, I feel like. So you can't do the things alone, so you need some people around you, like who can in terms of guiding, who can also like criticize you, this criticism with the critical appreciation, so that you can ponder on things again, and then you can improve the processes. So in my case, I select 4 mentors at a time. So it is typically, you can say, the one mentor from my work life who knows me in terms of work, another mentor from my academic life who knows me during my academic days sort of thing, another mentor I kept it like from my uh, not extended family side, you can say, who knows me for a very long time. Okay. Another mentor I have chosen like from a friend circle, a stupid one. Okay. So who know me without having all hats, like Kulzaris in this sort of thing, who can easily can say, okay, hey bro, what you just did, this should not be something like this, like this. Okay. So that this all force helped me in a different way, I must say. Now I'm giving an example one by one. So the work one, so when I'm writing something in work related in my essays sort of thing, and the person knows me in terms of my approaches, in terms of my attitude, who can give me the feedback, Gulzar, you have written here in this context, this example, you could have write this thing in this way, which is more attractive and better, in terms of work example. Similarly goes with the academic sort of thing. If I'm mentioning something in this academic front and sort of thing, this academic professor and the teacher who can guide me, okay, something you can add in this front which will be much more fruitful and suitable in this way. And the person who knows me in the family side, who can guide me and then give the perspectives on the overall me. Okay, when I'm taking a situation, if I'm mismentioning anything about like empathy, mismentioning anything about like understanding the situation, like setting calm sort of thing, he can give you, okay, you have these attributes, mention some of the things in your writing, so that it can make your case more strong in terms of the evaluator. And the friend, the stupid one, as I said, it's mostly he don't know, he or she don't know anything, like hell lot of the things you are doing, so they don't care about, they only just know you, okay, Gulzar, okay, the dude is there. So they said, okay, I don't know anything, but I have gone through it as a first hand of experience, I feel like this is something not there, and this is something overwritten, and this is something you have not written. So this helps want to in terms of reflect over all those comments and then improve further into the version of the essays. So I feel like the attendees here, they should have the mentors in this whole processes, and mentor also helps in the well-being process. This is a very exhausting process. It's not so like always happy sort of thing. There are a lot of things to be think about, a lot of things to be reflect about, and then write, rewrite. Frustrations will come. So mentors also help you in the process in terms of like finding your true self in terms of balancing well-being. And I feel like you guys have a wonderful platform. So you guys have interesting people in your platform. So attendees can reach out to you guys and then have the mentorship support, I feel like. But I would really like advise those people and the student, they should have their, don't choose the journey alone. So it will be the disasters.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, like, there are so many people struggling. They're like, thoughts, and they cannot put it into reality. There are money issues. They're just homesick. They don't want to leave home, and they're frustrated. There are so many things. And I
Yeah,
think just one fresh set of eyes and another perspective, I think that will help a lot. And we at Nebula, guys, we provide mentors and one on one sessions for you just to help you to study and work abroad. So do connect with us.
fantastic.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Gulzar. Thank you. And next is, what does Chevening offer beyond the monetary contribution to its scholars?
Yeah, it's more. I also mentioned something earlier, So apart from covering all expenses and giving your pockets money to live in London or anywhere in the UK, as per the what you can say, the cost of living. Now the cost of living crisis the UK is having in this history, so we're struggling a bit, but that's not a problem. Apart from that, the most important aspect of non-monetary things the shifting gives, that is in terms of strengthening networking. As I mentioned, 160 countries, 1600 application each year. So you are getting into this bucket of the people across the world, even from your own country. The people who has a like good and the bright future so far, they are bit into this cohort. And during this year, the Shivning itself, they conducted various events, like one or two big events they conduct, like inviting every scholars in a common place and then allow them to network, meet with them, and then exchange their ideas, sort of thing. Apart from that, Shivning also like helps the student to conduct various networking events into the universities and the location. Suppose like Shivning get up or get together happening in London, so it is when people are getting meeting with the other guys who are studying in the other universities in the London, maybe, or the other universities close to the London. So they're meeting each other, knowing each other, exchanging the ideas and the informations. So in this way, I feel like in this world, the way the globalization, we call it liberalization or privatization, the way we are moving ahead. So it is not sufficient to live only with the education degrees or only with the what you can say the resources you have. Along with this, I feel like it is equally important to have the resources in terms of the information, and how this information you will get the right one only if you have a network. And Shivning gives this opportunity of networking, and which is like most valuable thing to shape or reshape of anyone's career, I feel like.
Yeah, I think most of them, they always, in the midst of like, okay, we are going to study in a recognized university, they always miss out on the part that, okay, networking is also very important. So thank you for highlighting that. Okay. Uh, so do you have any challenges that you faced while you're staying right now in UK? Have you faced any challenges? And would you like to say to our aspirants anything that they cannot, like, get rid of it or just lessen the pressure? Anything?
Oh yeah, yeah. I also mentioned these two things before in terms of the languages. So initially it may happen some frictions, for like 2 3 months, maybe in terms of getting into the cultural aspect of the languages. they may feel like they are excluded or sort of thing. They're unable to make the contribution into the group they are with, into the university sort of thing, and the people they are living. It's totally all right if they are feeling so. No need to feel frightened, no need to feel frustrated over it. It happens. It's a normal transition things. Okay. If sometimes they may feel the imposter syndrome, like they're good for nothing, people around are so smart, and that like person is like, not valuable sort of thing, it also happens. So it is a normal process. They should not feel much worried and depressed over it, and they shouldn't go for like, being it taking the well-being session and the therapy from the university and other sort of thing. Unless the university provides all sort of the services, if any students is feeling any struggles in terms of even if the financial and the non-financial, like all these well-being services and all. So it is happening. So no need to worry. It will go away by the time. Just be with the situation. And the next things in about like, other than this, I don't feel like any challenges are there once you are like settle up with your finances, and like you are with your right group, or the along with your right people. I think everything like things start falling into your own way. And I will suggest like those who are coming, so they should have, they are come with this empty cup of the philosophy, so they're here to learn and the relearn and something unlearn those who already learned, and try to make the travel as much as they can. And because UK has a very beautiful the culture, heritage, and the landscapes is across the corner. So getting, if people are coming to the London, so get out of the London frequently, so that they like get to know more about like UK and the international exposure, and open to like meet with the people, and open to the any challenging situation. That grit need to be there with the person. The person need to have this like audacity to go through the uncertainties sort of thing. It may happen in this the foreign land and all. So it doesn't mean that like you'll be helpless. People will be here to around you, so you just need to be expressive, talk to the things, to the people around. And other than these things, yeah, I think things will be taken care of until you are carrying a great mood, as I mentioned earlier, and get a perspective to getting ahead, so nothing will stop you. Other than this, all good to go.
Right, that's perfect. Okay, I think we should move forward with the questions that our attendees also have. I think
Of
let's
course.
address to that as well. So I think there's this first question that is, does Chevening, what all expenses are covered exactly?
Okay. So first of all, that whatever the tuition fees of the course of your university, Chevening directly like give payments to the university. So you don't need to worry about. And the next thing, like when you are traveling from your own country, so they will take care of your visa application fee. They will take care of your the plane tickets, like to and fro, like you are coming and when you are returning also, they will be taken care of. And while once you reach into the UK, they will give you some like the some allowances to settle up sort of thing. And after that, on a monthly basis, they will give you a stipend. So stipend is like well enough to manage your monthly living costs in terms of paying rent and managing your own self. So it will be there like till your university duration is like, suppose your course duration is around 12 months, and your visa duration is around 14 and 15 months. So your stipend will be only available for these your academic durations, like for 12 months, not for your visa duration of stay in the UK. So this is how the shivering cost that is covered, starting from the plane ticket to the your university, and then you're returning to your own country.
Right. There is also a question coming up. So why did you choose social innovation and entrepreneurship? I think you already mentioned that. The
Yeah,
cause.
I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the sake of that question, and again, I can mention that. Okay, so I said I wanted to pursue something which is a mix of the social impact and the business angles. So this course is providing a pretty good stuff in terms of mixing the social angle, that is social impact, and the business angle through the entrepreneurship. So it's mostly studying about like how to inculcate the essence of the entrepreneurship into a social model or like social impact model, and then which can makes more sustainable. And generating its own revenue sort of thing, mainly the mission driven businesses. So it's not only about the finance driven businesses. Mission driven businesses means it has a purpose and it has a revenue generation stream, so that it can run by its own. It should not be depending on the donation and the charity sort of thing. But of course, yes, the angel investor and the venture capitalist sort of thing, if it is, yes, it should go on. So it's basically to the you can say the catering the business angles into the social part, so that it can strengthen more.
Right. Okay, thank you so much for that answer again. Okay. Someone is also asking, can I work while studying in UK?
Yeah, of course. There's a condition. So in your visa, it will be written like for a student, you leave to enter, because if you're coming to the Chevening or even the Commonwealth, so you have to come back. So in terms of Commonwealth shared, so if any student is pursuing that scholarship, if you are thinking of planning your PhD, then they allow. But Chevening don't allow, not even PhD and anything. So during your term time means your course duration time, suppose it is 1 year. So you cannot work full time, you work part time. So there is an hours mentioned there. Then 20 hours sort of things in a week you can work, but not beyond that, it is mentioned. But when your course is finished, okay, you have still some months remain in your visa time. So then you can work full time. You just need to ask your university to give a certification that you have submitted all of the academic requirements. Their degree will not get given because this convocation didn't happen. So they will give you, and the employer will just need this certificate. Okay, this candidate submitted everything. Now term times doesn't apply, but the person has a valid visa, work authorization, the person can work.
Right. Thank you so much for that answer. And any queries coming up? Yes. Where did you stay during your period of study in the UK? This question is personally to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, in UK it's London. So I stayed in the university accommodation. The place I stayed, that is one of the most lovable place so far in my life. Yeah, and for the people around the world, I guess it's very close to the Tower Bridge. It's like 1 minute away. Like there is a Tower Bridge, and our flat is like 1 minute away. So normally it's very close. So this place, these days are very like memorable for me on these days. Yes. So this is the university accommodation. So I will suggest, yeah, there is some, not some, very critical challenges in terms of finding accommodation in homes. It's to 10x than Mumbai. So in India, you consider it Mumbai is this the challenging place in terms of finding accommodation. London is like
Right.
even beyond sort of thing. So if the student coming here for the first time and they don't have much support and then already exist in the UK sort of thing, they should opt for this university accommodation. There is less hassle. And but again, they can go to the seeing the private accommodations. So there are various websites sort of thing. They need to go through finding it. They need to have the video ways of viewing the flats, and then they will ask for the guarantors to sign you on. Otherwise, they need to pay the rent upfront. This some sort of the processes are there, and they're very professional and transparent about it. So if they're going it, no need to worry. They won't be cheated and sort of thing. Everything will be like treated well. But there's some sort of challenges that they're getting into it. If anyone is signing up for this university accommodation, that is less hassle free.
Right. So I think we'll have to address, I think, two, three more questions.
Oh, no
I
worries.
hope you're not. I
Yeah,
hope you're not tired.
no, I'm
Okay.
not.
So, what is the scope of working or pursuing further studies in the UK post completion of Chevening Scholarship?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, so the once you are the Shivner, you have to come back. So this need to be in your like plan from the very beginning. So you should not dreaming and thinking of you have set up you will set up your next career after the course in UK and the other part of the Europe. No, you can't. Okay, so you have to come back. That's why Shivning giving you this funding. Like you study in the UK and come back to your own country and serve whatever the learning you had, international exposure you had. But if you have some remaining months in your visa after completion of the course, like 4 or 5 months sort of thing, normally people have, you can work like uh, reaching out to the organization and the companies if they are okay to hire you based on their opening requirements and the skills that you have. Yeah, you can work. No one will going to stop you. Other
Right.
than this, no way you can't work the UK after once you being a Shivinar. So you have to come back.
Okay. That's pretty bad, I think. I mean, like there are not too many options left, but I think UK is quite interesting destination to travel, the culture and everything. So yeah, people
Yeah, but
should not have a problem.
there's a string attached. Like, okay, like while you come back, like it's then to fulfill some minimum of 2 years. After 2 years, if you wanted to come back again in the country and all, so yeah, they won't say anything. For minimum 2 years, you have to come back to your own country because UK is already suffering with this huge chunk of the immigration. They don't want more people now.
Absolutely. Okay. So what is your plan post completion of your scholarship?
Okay, that's a pretty interesting question. I'm figuring it out.
Yes.
Okay, so my plan, yeah, the question those the person asked and the other who was also wanting to know my answer on this. So, yeah, after completion of the course and the Chevening, so my plan, of course, yes, I wanted to come back to my country and then, yeah, work for my country. So I'll start my career again with the impact consulting that I figured it out, and also I'm in a process with some of my friends to build an impact startup in the phase of impact measurement. So we are working on it very hard. So we don't know like when it will be ready, but one is it will be. But I'll be pursuing like a little bit of it like full-time job in the area of impact consulting, or maybe with the CSR because I had a background in the CSR, attaching the venture philanthropy sort of thing in this space. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a wrap, people.
Oh, is
I
it?
hope we were, yeah, I hope we were able to cover all the questions. And the questions that were not answered, please look them up at nbyula.com under the quest tab. Thank you so much, Gulzar. It was lovely having you here at our platform.
Same
And
here. Same here. Yeah. Pleasure speaking
you're
with you in your platform.
yeah, you're such an example and such an inspiration. And the cause that you're doing this is amazing. We really, really thank you a lot. Okay. And for all the aspirants looking out, or you really need a mentor, I think Gulzar can also offer some mentorship as one on one session with us. So do connect with us for more information. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a good day.